Yo, what's going on YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte. Guys, we're taking a look today at the Toronto Maple Leafs. As the other day, Chris Johnston of Sportsnet was talking about a potential big move that we may see from the Toronto Maple Leafs this offseason. So they threw out a couple names that we've been hearing in the Leaf fan rumor mill, as well as a couple of names that I was able to pick up from Cap Friendly. We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you guys like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey and want to see the latest news around the NHL and more videos just like this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and an even bigger subscribe down below, and let's take a look at the Toronto Maple Leafs' potential big names. So there were a couple of guys that could really legitimately be on the table here. So according to what Chris Johnson said, there's a couple of criteria that this player has to meet. So it's a non-playoff team. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it's an American team. Okay. And then multiple years left on that contract. So I was able to come up with 4 or 5 different names. And we'll be looking at those guys in particular. We'll be looking at the 2 that everyone is super glued in there in Leafland. And we'll kind of get an assessment of who really fits best with the Toronto Maple Leafs and who exactly is that player. Now, when I first heard that they may be looking at a big player this summer, I was automatically thinking, well, what if they take a look at a team like, I don't know, the Calgary Flames? They have Sean Monahan, Johnny Gaudreau. They may look to blow things up. Maybe there's a fit there. Or maybe even a guy like Brock Besser in Vancouver. I know Canucks fans don't want to see Besser get traded, but again, just saying, just throwing it out there. So what's the alternative? Okay, well now there's no Canadian teams out, all right, and a non-playoff team. So you could look at the Rangers, the Sabres, the Red Wings. Nobody really comes to mind. Jack Eichel, but again, let's be honest. Do the Leafs have the cap space to bring in Jack Eichel? Call me crazy. If they bring him in 3 months, okay, but I don't see that happening. All right, well, now maybe what about the Dallas Stars? The Dallas Stars have a couple of interesting names. One in particular, and that name is Rupe Hintz, who had a very good season with the Dallas Stars. He's been one of their best players, honestly. He's 24 years old. He's a former second-round pick back in 2015, and he is coming off a 33-point season in 60 games, again, with a non-playoff team with the Dallas Stars. So that is something to keep in mind. Actually, no, excuse me. He had 43 points in 41 games this season. 33 points last season in 60 games. So he has had a very good season. He's played over 150 games in the NHL, so he has a little bit of experience. He's a left winger. He is making $3.15 million till the summer of 2023, which gives them a couple of years for a guy that's legitimately a top six winger, potentially even a center, for very cheap. And that's something that the Leafs could also be looking at. Again, they didn't mention anything about a low salary, so there are a couple names in here that have a higher salary, one in particular, but when we get to that, we'll talk about it. So at 3.15 for the next, they have 2 full seasons of Rupe Hintz. That would be quite attractive for a team like the Maple Leafs. Now, another name that we've been hearing about, well, this is a guy, again, these first 2 names are names that we haven't heard a ton of rumors about, but based off of what, the guidelines are, this could potentially work. And that other player is 25-year-old, again, left wing, center, whatever you want to call it, Christian Dvorak of the Arizona Coyotes. Now, this past season, he had 31 points in 56 games. Okay, he's around, I don't know, maybe a 40, 45-point player this season. He had 38 points last season. Again, not a full season. So, again, right around that 40, 45-point mark. He's had a couple of injury issues. He's been in and out of the lineup, 30, 40 points a season. That's really what you're looking at in Dvorak, former second-round pick back in 2014. Like I said, 25 years old. And he is attractive because he has a lot of term left on his deal. Now, he's only in the second year of a 6-year contract he signed with the Yotes. So he won't be a free agent until the summer of 2025. So that gives them a lot of term. That gives them another full 4 seasons with a guy like Christian Dvorak. Again, that's something that could be attractive to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's another name you could throw out there. Now, the two names that we've been hearing linked from Leaf fans that they would really like to see based off of the criteria, we're heading out to San Jose. Again, a non-playoff team, an American-based team, a lot of salary left on their deal, and that is Evander Kane of the San Jose Sharks. He's 29 years old, former 2009 fourth overall pick by the Thrashers. We know he's no longer there. He's an interesting player because he's good for at least between 50 to 55 points a season. He's a gritty, agitating player, and I think that would be something that, a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs would take a look at. He is from Vancouver, which again, how crazy would that be if he ended up in Vancouver? But we could see an Evander Kane trade here. Doug Wilson wants to move out some salary this summer. Evander Kane is a guy they could move. And again, he has the scoring touch, he has some skill, he's a bigger body, and he adds grit. That's exactly what the Leafs are looking for. There is one problem, though. He has 7 years, he signed a 7-year deal. He's just finishing the third year of that deal, so he still has 4 years left. Just like Christian Fischer, his contract will end in the summer of 2025. But he also has a modified no-trade clause. He submits a list of 3 teams that he will not go to. Now, I'm going to assume that the Leafs wouldn't be on that 3-team list. I would assume teams like Buffalo, Winnipeg, and Columbus were probably the 3 that he would completely avoid. But other than that, again, you could see the Leafs maybe be in on a guy like Evander Kane. Again, that's what Leaf fans have been talking about, a guy they would potentially like to bring in. And the other name, and this is a bigger name, and I know Flyers fans are very adamant about me even talking about trading one of these two guys, but Travis Konecny and Sean Couturier. Now, Travis Konecny is the one that a lot of Leaf fans have dialed in on over the last couple of weeks. He's 24 years old, former 2015 draft pick of the Flyers. He's just played his 5th season with the Flyers. And again, he's good for around 40 to 50 points a season. A very solid top 6 player. He can play the wing. He's more suited as a winger. But again, this is a guy that could be a really nice addition to the Leafs. He's, like I said, 24 years old, former first-round pick. And this is another guy that his contract ends in the summer of 2025. So he has some term on his contract. Now, he does have a higher cap hit like Evander Kane. He's at $5.5 million per season compared to Evander Kane's $7 million. So that may be a little bit easier to stomach. But again, they're going to have to give up some assets to the Flyers if they want a guy like Konecny. This is not going to be just a first-round pick. This is going to be they're going to have to give up a lot for Konecny. Do they trade Morgan Riley the other way? I don't know. We'll see. But that's something to at least look at. So those are the big names. Let me know what you guys think, because I think the Leafs, again, this isn't like this huge player addition. It's, Konecny, Kane, Christian Dvorak. But again, it's a name that maybe you wouldn't have expected to see potentially get moved. And let's be honest, the Leafs are going to be desperate this offseason. Kyle Dubas realizes he's on the hot seat right now. If he hasn't been already, he's definitely on the hot seat. If this team has another season, let's just imagine next year the Leafs get kicked out in the first round of the playoffs. Or, for that matter, if they miss the playoffs next year. How different would this team look? Managerial-wise, roster-wise, they need to win. And I would not be any bit surprised if they looked at a guy like Evander Kane or Travis Konecny who can add points to this team for cheaper, and they actually add that little bit of grit. That's exactly what the Leafs need. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think any of these names could go to the Toronto Maple Leafs? Again, and if you like one of these names, maybe leave some mock trades in the comments down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time.